we're going to get to your bit as well. Now look at all this. This is a big family here, and they all play a part in this. So let's get everyone's names. What's your name?
I'm Jesse.
Your daddy?
Yes.
I'm Mother Michelle Reynoso.
And I'm Chloe. I'm
The victim.
Right. And I'm Dr. Shooter. I'm the helper.
The healer.
The helper.
The doctor.
The healer, yeah.
And brother.
I'm Clayton. I'm the brother.
Okay, and over there's Grandpa. Is it Grandpa?
No,
it's not. Oh, whoops, sorry. Oh, that was rude. I'm sorry. I apologise. Who are you?
No, Grandpa. Somebody is Grandpa.
He's the one that owns the company that makes
Okay,
the
you helped get it better. Okay, all right. We'll go.
I'm the manufacturer of the product. Yeah.
All right. Well, so let's hear the story, and then we'll go to you afterwards. Okay, so you guys talk about, as parents, your views on vaccines as your two children are growing up. Who's older? You older?
Yeah.
How old are you?
19.
And how are you?
I'm 16.
You're 16. So let's talk about, you clearly were into vaccination.
No. So she was being homeschooled at the time because she wanted to advance in her dance.
Ballerina.
And then, but then she wanted the socialness of school. So in order to get her back into school, we needed to get her vaccinated, to get her shots up to.
So in order, let me explain. So she's at homeschool. In order to do what, she needs to be vaccinated?
To go back to public school,
right.
She needed to get vaccinated.
So the last week before 7th grade ends, so she can go to school in 8th grade, they had us, we couldn't sign up for school unless we had the vaccinations. So we rushed over to the health department to get the vaccinations because the doctor's offices were too busy to take us. He takes her to the health department to get the vaccinations on the chart, and
Right.
I tell him, don't give her the Gardasil vaccination, whatever you do.
And then me not knowing what exactly that was, the doctor there was talking about HPV virus that was out, and give your daughter these shots and it's going to protect her, and yada yada yada. And so of course I took the sales pitch and I go, okay, go ahead.
So
and
do you
give her
know
the
what
shot.
she had that day?
So they gave her, I guess, basically Gardasil, but it was expressed to me that it was. Well,
But was it
that-
only Gardasil that day?
No.
No.
No, she had other shots as well.
A slew of them.
You know, just your basic.
And she
Whatever
needed
the
this
list.
to go back to school?
Yes.
And it was mandatory? Is that because of the SB277, or was it before then?
It was before that. She was 12.
12, okay.
It was before that, and they threw that in there with the other shots. And she was, now mind you, she was a full-time ballerina 6 days a week, training to be auditioning and
Yeah,
stuff.
I was homeschooled to pursue like dance.
Yeah. She wanted to be a working ballerina, not just a performing ballerina.
So, we got the shots. She was accepted that summer into a high ballet school at the University of Irvine and could not dance.
So after the first round, did you start to feel ill?
I just started getting tired. Like I didn't have like sicknesses. It's just I would be like tired like from when I wake up to when I go to sleep, and like going to my dance like summer intensive. Like I don't remember this.
No energy.
Yeah, but my mom would tell me like I'd be like sleeping in the car and like super tired.
So at this point, are you connecting it to the vaccines, or you just...
No.
Right, so you go ahead and do another round.
We did the second round. We didn't do it a month later. I did it like 2 months later. And couldn't get her to... We drive to 45-minute drive one way, and she'd go to dance at the ballet academy that was expensive and couldn't dance and just lay there. And she wanted to dance, but she couldn't function. Her brain, she'd just look at you just in space.
Kind of lethargic.
She started losing all of her, turning gray. She lost all the muscle tone in her face.
And blue lips.
Her lips were turning blue. The kids at school in 9th grade, that was the summer between 7th and 8th, but when she was in 9th grade, they would make comments to her, did you eat blue popsicle at school? And he would pick her up from school, and her lips were blue, and nobody could figure out. The pediatrician was saying, are you sure you're not mistaken? Nobody can have blue lips like that. And then the blood pressure started dropping. She had the blood pressure of a 7 to 9 year old at 14 and 15 years old.
So,
Couldn't wake her up.
so what were the doctors saying? Were you saying my child doesn't wake up, something's wrong with my child?
She couldn't swallow because the lymph nodes were so bad in the
That
chest.
was after the second shot.
That was
Yeah,
after the
second
second
shot.
shot. We never did the third shot.
After the second shot, like I got this weird like locked jaw thing, and I couldn't open my mouth all the way. So like for like a week, I like wasn't eating. I was just drinking stuff because like I couldn't open my mouth like wider than like that. And then that went away after like a week, and then my throat, like my tonsils, got like really swollen, and like I like couldn't swallow anything, and I had to like spit like all my like saliva that I produced. And then I went to the doctor, and they would just give me like nothing. They couldn't find anything wrong.
Well, they wanted to remove her tonsils because that was the way to fix it. And if you looked in her mouth, it looked like ground beef in her throat, where you could even stick an eraser from a pencil down it. It was so closed off, and it was very scary looking.
And she would rock with her hands under her arms because her lymph nodes hurt so bad under her arms and in her chest.
Yeah, like the lymph nodes are here and like under your arms and right here, and like they would just be swollen all the time.
And when they said they wanted to take her tonsils out, I said, she's so sick. What do you mean take her tonsils out? She can't go through an operation. She can't even get up.
Yeah.
And they said, well, you need to go to the ear, nose, and throat specialist. So we go there, and the lady's like, I don't see, it seems like you had a really bad sore throat. What chances, how much of a chance would you say to remove her tonsils? Because I don't want to put her in an operation. It's just 10%. Like, we're not taking her tonsils out. She can't go through an operation.
And she needed her lymph nodes in
We
her
needed them.
tonsils. So what happened too is, being so tired, she got a case of mono, which then got blown up into her
This is what the
Epstein-Barr, and then that Epstein-Barr just totally took all of her energy out.
Which for the British people is glandular fever. We call it glandular fever.
Okay.
And so she had this mono, she was off the charts and all the blood tests, and then the pediatrician called us back and said, there's nothing we can do with Epstein-Barr. Just take her home and let her go to sleep. But in the meantime, because her lymph nodes were so swollen, they told us that they think that she had lymphoma, and there's nothing they could do for her. So they were shooting her in the leg with antibiotics or these packs of steroids, which would give her a high, and then she'd crash so much harder because her body couldn't take care of it, and she was passing out and fainting. It just kept escalating. So we didn't go after the Epstein-Barr from October through January. I just kept her home because no one could help her.
Yeah, she would go to school maybe once a week because she would just sleep.
The doctor
12,
said
15 hours
school's
a
not
day.
important, just sleep.
The doctor said school's not important, just sleep.
Yeah.
We couldn't dance anymore. But,
I would just like sit and like mark my dances or like watch the classes.
lay
Because, like,
on the floor.
I just wouldn't feel like good enough to dance.
So I finally said in January, you've got to, I need an infectious disease specialist. I need somebody to figure out what's wrong with her. And we took her to the infectious disease specialist, and he looked at all of the Epstein-Barr, was off the charts, and he said, I think she has a rare form of mono that has traveled up her spinal fluid, being spinal cord, being a ballerina, and is living in her brain, and it should take about 2.5 years to wear off. There's nothing we can do.
Become dormant again.
Yeah, because they can't do anything like for my brain. Like if it was anywhere else, like they could like give me medicine or like treatments. But it was in my brain, so there's nothing they could do. And then it started giving me headaches, and I had like 5 or 6 headaches like in a day, like every day, and like I just got like on this constant like track of having headaches.
So at any point, are they linking the vaccine now? Now, obviously the doctor's not. Are you linking the vaccine?
I'm linking the vaccination to it, and they're telling me there's nothing you can do to prove this.
Yeah, she
There's-
was researching all this stuff.
Yeah.
She was a different child before.
Right.
This is not the same child. Somebody has got to help me. I'm at the pediatrician every 2 to 3 days. Help me.
And they want to give her the third shot.
And
They're
they
pushing
every
the third
time
shot.
they want to give her the 3rd shot, and I'm like, no.
Yeah, so
They're
it stopped-
still wanting to give you
Yeah.
the third
it
shot.
stopped
Every
going there.
time.
They are murderers.
I stopped going. I wouldn't go. I went to that infectious disease. Then we went to a neurologist who helped us, gave us
So
something.
before the neurologist, we went to the lady who gave me the medicine to get rid of my headaches, the chronic headaches.
Right.
Okay.
And then we also
Have you got any photographs of you dancing? Pictures? Have you got any pictures of you dancing?
I have videos of her.
Yeah. Oh, please show us before the injury. Are you dancing now? I don't want to jump ahead.
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
dancing.
because
I just
I've jumped
danced
way to
today.
the end. Sorry, I told the ending. Because this is a good ending compared to what it could have been.
Oh, yeah.
So I fought and I started watching everything I could do.
I have
That
videos
like
done.
there was a documentary on called The Truth About Cancer. And I started taking all of those things. I bought that in CDs and I watched them 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 times over. And I took her off of anything that was man-made and put her on all vegetables and fruits and organic, everything. No hormones, nothing in a package. Because I was afraid that her immune system was so bad, her lymph nodes were so bad, that it was going to make her grow tumors because she had no fight in her. She couldn't, when you would speak to her, it would take you 2 or 3 times to answer. She would say, huh? Huh, what? What'd you say?
Or she would go to a party and like have a piece of pizza at the party, and the next day she would sleep for like 16 hours because just the
It's a sleeping coma. She would go into a sleeping
Right.
coma
'Cause
from the reaction of the chemicals in the
All the
food with the
preservatives that were in
preservatives and
there,
the
and-
vaccination. Her body would shut down. She wouldn't use the restroom in that sleep. It was 19 hours the first day. The second day was a 16-hour sleep. And then the next day was like a 14 to a 15-hour day. And it would happen for 3 days in a row. And then she would wake up.
You must have been petrifying for you.
I didn't leave the house. I paced. I didn't want to, I didn't know what to do. But you couldn't wake her up. There was no waking this child up. She didn't
Oh, right
eat,
there.
nothing.
Okay.
And just take her home and do nothing with her? Are you kidding? This is a child that's all A's, driven.
This is when you know that it's vaccine injury. When they
Absolutely.
leave you and then you're on your own.
Right.
When they can't give you an answer and they say, don't know.
right. Like
It's
we
in-
did
it's in-
all
it's
we
in
could
her head.
do,
Did you get- it's in
now
her
it's- Right.
I guarantee.
She's crazy.
Yes. I was the crazy one.
But
Oh, it's the
that's
mother
when you know
again.
you know that's your diagnosis of vaccine injury. No video of dancing?
Oh,
Yeah.
I want to see your dancing.
it's.
No, this is.
Is this before the injury
No,
or
this
after?
is after.
Not after or during?
This is after. This is this year.
This year, okay. I'm
Yeah.
so happy you're
Oh,
back
this year? I
dancing
got it.
again.
So
I got the one
Chloe
before.
is now where she's at.
You want to see?
If you
play.
want to go.
Sorry, wait, there's a glare on there.
Oh.
Okay, there you go. Play.
That's a pet play.
Yeah, press
Yeah,
the button.
that was nice.
We're going to hear how you guys got her into this wonderful state. Which one's
Don't
Chloe?
say.
Is it? It's not. I think it's Jeff.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
No, what?
No, it's not doing it.
Might be the
It's going to do it.
reception here.
There you go.
Put it up a bit. So show us where you are.
Wait till he goes to the back because he moves it a lot. I'm gonna be on the right side. It's hard to see because he filmed it. I'm back here. Right.
So you have the energy now to be able to dance.
Yeah, like
That's
I go
wonderful.
to dance and then yesterday I had rehearsal and then came home from rehearsal, did homework, ran to the gym, went to the gym, worked out, and I came back like I'm normal now.
You're the regular person.
Yeah.
So do you still dream of, do you think you're ever going to be well enough to be a professional dancer?
I want to be a pilot.
A pilot?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a change. That's a change.
Private pilot. Yes, she decided that she wants to do, and she can do it now.
All right, so what happened? How did we get you better?
So we
Well,
we
it was-
went to
This beautiful woman right here, who just would not give up. She wouldn't take no for an answer, and she just educated herself, educated us, and she did it. She found the right people, Dr. Susie and Dr. Rex,
Mama knows best.
and they pulled into their bags of tricks and figured out what treatment's going to work best for her, and she followed it.
How bad did it get before you found Dr. Susie?
we were so bad, and they were telling us that we needed more vaccinations, and we had to
Yeah.
have paperwork signed.
I think the worst was freshman year of high school, where like I missed like more than half the year,
Yes.
but I still got A's and B's because like that's
Because you're smart.
what I am.
And at the end of the year, they gave out sashes to each one of the girls in dance at the end of what they were for the year. And when I was standing
Little
there,
names on them, like little nicknames or
like
whatever.
twirls for years and stuff, and when I was standing there watching them give out the sashes, and they presented Chloe's with, what, oh,
What's that?
her sash wrote, huh, what, oh.
Because she wasn't
Because
there.
her brain couldn't keep a conversation with the other girls.
Who
and
made that sash?
The captain of the dance team.
girls.
Very nice.
And the other girls were like, shoot for the stars and these things, and Chloe was what, oh. When that happened at the end of the thing, and when I went up to them at the captain and I said, what made you decide to name Chloe that? And she said, well, you know, if I was going to produce a movie, she would be Clueless number 2. And I looked at her and I said, oh, okay. And I turned around and I did everything I could not to cry, because I saw her as getting better, but they were still to hold a conversation. It would take her 2 or 3 times to listen to what the conversation was.
get what
And
was
that's
going on.
when I knew it wasn't done. I wasn't done. So they needed this paper filled out for school in order for her to be able to go to school, and they wanted to give her more vaccinations.
There's a physical.
A physical thing. So what I did is I found every way I could, and I found Dr. Susie Schroeder here.
Shoot.
Schroeder.
And you're based here in California?
Newport Beach, right.
Yeah, but, wait, what?
And
Newport
also
Beach.
LA.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Newport Beach.
Newport Beach and LA.
So I asked her, please. She says, I don't see children. And I said, I have a very special child. She's very mature. She will do anything you ask her to do. She will follow your regimen. Please, please
All right,
see
so,
her.
so why you? What do you specialise in, and why don't you see children?
I'm gonna bring in.
Oh,
You got another story?
No, I'm gonna bring him in.
Oh, yeah,
he has
then
to go to the.
right.
Oh, yeah,
Why me? I'm not really sure. What I do is I find solutions for people,
Excellent.
and I look at everything, and I'll research things out, and you know, I just do that. I don't do standard, you know, recipe type doctor stuff.
What kind of a doctor are you?
Aha, a good one.
A good one, I hear. Thank you for being a good doctor.
My background is psychiatry, but I don't believe in psychiatric diagnoses anymore. I believe that people have stuff, you know, they have all kinds of things. So I found people with copper toxicity, people with all kinds of things that cause them to have stuff that's psychiatric, or makes them depressed, or makes them anxious, or makes them not act right, or makes them tired, or makes them wiped out. And so I look for reasons, and so it doesn't really fall under any particular heading. And I look at all the hormones also, because everything in the body, if you have, you know, I look at nutrients. If a person has a problem with not having enough nutrients, that's going to have an effect on the brain and the body. And then toxins, heavy metals especially. Looking at all of that, and then I find something to work with that. And I really didn't have very much with heavy metals initially, except to send someone out for chelation IV or something like that. And there was a product, and it wasn't really that good. Then I heard about Mr. Oren's product.
Right. Now we need to bring you out over here, I think.
Yes,
So otherwise we won't be able to hear you. Now how are we going to do this?
Okay, so
You want to move
he's
in?
got a better voice than I do.
Well, if you guys move up that way and we put these two doctors together,
Perfect.
is that okay?
Yes, we will.
He's actually the owner of the company. He's
All right.
not a doctor.
All right, you're not a
He's an
doctor.
owner.
Okay. What are you then?
What is he?
What are you?
He's an amazing man who brought this product into being from Russia, right?
From Soviet Union.
From the Soviet Union. Right. Thank you. Right.
From those countries.
Hmm?
From the
Soviet Union. Right.
Republics.
Right. This okay.
All right. So what you guys need to speak louder. We're
Okay.
struggling to hear you. So what happened? How did you get? And you are feeling better, are you?
Yes, I'm really like normal now.
That's
Better than
fantastic.
normal. Right.
Yeah.
And how bad was she when she came to you both?
She was pretty awful, poor thing. I mean, she was just not very responsive. I would talk to her, and she would be like, "Oh," I mean, like you
Didn't
would
communicate.
not very well, no. And I just thought that was you. I didn't know, because I don't treat kids for the most part, right? And you were still in my mind a kid, sorry. So, And it was, it just wasn't my thing. I just, I would treat people 18 and over. But she seemed like a very nice young lady, and her mom was really pushing, and, so I do a lot of lab work. I look at a lot of blood, I look at urine, I test for a lot of different things. I also do a physical exam. And what I find is that the adrenal glands play a big part in everything. So it's a stress-related adrenal dysfunction. So it's not something called Addison's, which is like the worst case scenario. It's not that at all. It's actually just, it's a dysfunction. It's too low, but it's not like wiped out. And it can come from a stress. And her stress, sometimes it's from the adrenal gland itself, but in her case it was something triggered her adrenal system to not work. And so I figured that out when I gave her cortisol, and it worked. And
You gave her what?
I gave her hydrocortisone. I gave her cortisol, right? Also known as, it's a prescription item, but I have it compounded. And that seemed to work for a little while, marginally. It wasn't great, but it helped a bit until it stopped. And I thought, maybe she stopped taking it. You swore up and down that you didn't, right?
Yes,
And I believed you, right? So then I thought, there's something else here. And I knew about the vaccine. And I'm not a vaccine doctor, but, I do know it can cause harm. So I did some research and wondered, what's in these vaccines? And found, they have aluminum in there. And when I did the testing at the time, I tested the urine, which actually just gives you what's in. We have serum, and then we have our tissues, and that's just sort of what washes out of your tissues. So there wasn't very much washing out that was aluminum, but it doesn't have to. It could be in the tissues. And in her case, I believe, because I didn't do a brain biopsy yet, but it may be aluminum that goes to the brain. And the reason for that is because, can you hear me? What? What's the matter?
Just a little louder.
Louder.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're
A little
just,
louder.
people are struggling to
Saying
hear.
they can't hear.
Okay.
Sorry.
So what I looked at, I know that there's been some indication for aluminum causing Alzheimer's disease.
Yes.
And so that's what made me think about the aluminum in the vaccine causing some of the mental issues. Mental issues is a funny term, but it was more like you just weren't quite there. Mm-hmm. And so I wanted something to remove the aluminum, and that's when I found this product. I was very excited about it. It was through a friend of yours, Dr. Luba.
Luba, the young girl.
Right, and so she, and she was the one that told me about it. And I thought, well, this may be a very good thing to do, and that's what we did. I had used it for some people who had uranium toxicity, because I understood that this is the only thing that's kind of known to remove uranium. That's not what her problem was. So I used that, and we used a higher dose, and you were very good at taking it, but we have to stop because it does remove all the heavy metals. We did 3 different ones, was it?
Yeah.
It was 3 times, right?
Yeah.
So you have to wait, was it 2 months that we had to wait in between?
Yeah.
Right, so that you can replenish your minerals, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, we did it again, and then next thing I hear is like, you're doing really great. And that made me very happy.
So just taking a supplement has helped.
It's, well...
I mean, I know it's more than a
It's
supplement,
like
but the
cleaning
bottom
out.
line is you found something that...
It pulled the aluminum out of her. She was able to hold a conversation. She was exhausted during the process.
Yes.
She was exhausted during the process. 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off for 3 months. 2-month break, and then another month. She was getting better. She had, her eyes could open. She had a little bit of color. She was getting better. We did
energy.
more energy.
No blue lips.
No blue lips.
But her diet also, I mean, she's probably like 98% organic in her food, so she's very strict with her diet now
Yeah.
because she
Whole
knows
foods.
because she does not want to have a crash again. She knows if she eats something with too many preservatives, it can trigger that. And
Yeah,
so she's
foods really affected me like during the process. So like at one point I had to quit eating sugar, and I did that for 8 weeks.
And how did you feel?
Like it felt
Deprived.
I didn't like anything I ate didn't make me crash or like feel tired, which like usually like preservatives make me feel that way. So now I just eat like organic. Like, I don't try to eat a lot of sugar because the sugar makes me crash.
Even bananas. She doesn't eat bananas. She doesn't eat high sugar fruits. No melons. She eats the berries, cherries, and citrus.
Yeah, and I can tell when I have like a reaction to any foods because my throat feels swollen. Like how like
That's
it used to when I
interesting.
was sick.
You shouldn't be having all those sugars anyway, apparently, according to the cancer doctors.
Yeah.
According to everyone. I
According
mean,
to
And she
everyone.
has a lot of vitamins. I mean, how many pills do you take
She
a day?
took, Dr. Susie put her on, how many pills do you take a day? How many vitamins, supplements?
I take like a multivitamin, a vitamin C, vitamin D, and then like this type of acid.
Like 20 something
iodine.
vitamins, right?
The main thing is you feel better. So something that these guys here are doing together
Yes.
is making you feel better, as opposed to when you're in the mainstream, those kind of doctors were just not.
No,
Doing
nothing.
it.
They
No
were
help.
yeah.
No help. Nothing but
If it
keep
wasn't-
pushing the
yeah,
vaccination
if it wasn't
every
in their
single
medical
time.
books, then there wasn't a cure.
So I'm,
Yeah.
I'm going to add something because the foods are important, and so are the vitamins. That helps. But that alone would never have done it. It just didn't.
Without her drive to follow
With
everything.
the drive, especially, and being very compliant, as we call it in medicine. You were very compliant. Which sounds weird, but that's
I
what
was
it is.
willing to do anything. to
Right,
get
because
better.
she wanted to be better, and she pushed. But without the Folium, I don't think any of this would have
No.
happened.
I agree.
And that's what kind of pulled out the aluminum from her. Now, I can't prove, I didn't do brain biopsies, I can't prove it before and after aluminum, but I do know that this product works and it's pretty amazing, and I have you to thank for it. No,
Yes.
right.
You guys, I tried everything. I've gone every direction.
Right.
I truly believe every mother who is struggling or family that's struggling with this, try this. It's not expensive. It's worth it. I went to every extreme. I mean, I was.
But surely they should go to a doctor or something
Oh,
like that.
yes,
I
because
mean, isn't this?
she-
I don't. Are we talking about something like chelation here?
It is, it's exactly
Right.
what
Well,
it
so
is.
we have to be
It's
really
chelation,
careful here
right.
on the Vax team what we
Well,
talk about.
you know what?
The way the chelation happens is, if you go
I
like,
don't know what that means.
well,
Chelation, right, yeah.
chelation, right? It's
It means pulling things out.
yeah, right.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
what the way this product does, it absorbs all the bad guys,
Mm-hmm.
such as heavy metals, radiation, free radicals.
Mhm.
Get the hell out of here.
Right,
That's it.
right.
Simple.
It just pulls it
All
out.
right, so guys, let's make
It's
that
natural.
very clear.
It's made from
the
pine
reason why
trees.
she's getting better is she's been going to Dr. Susie, yes?
Right.
So do not try any of this stuff at home.
Do
We have
not.
not chelated Billy, and we will not do it with our Billy. So everybody needs to do their own thing, but you're not to take advice from me or Anu or anyone on the Vax team. You go and see Dr. Susie yourself, and she will help you.
Yes.
We made that
Or
clear.
another doctor that
Yes.
might be able to.
It,
right.
you
Before
need to go to a doctor because there's
BuzzFeed
more
have
than
another
just
go
taking
at
this. You must have the vitamins. You must have the whole package. You cannot do this alone. It's very important. You can't cut the corners. This is your children. You
So,
have
it's
to
a
have
different
guidance.
medical thing. You were about
I
to
would
say?
never advise you to do this on your own.
No, and you've had lots of guidance, haven't you? You've been to all sorts of doctors, but going to Dr. Susie, I mean, it's ironic that you trained as a psychiatrist, because my mantra is to tell people to stay away from psychiatrists.
You know
because
what?
they
Me too.
drug
Me too.
our kids. But
Me too.
you are a good doctor, and so anyway, how can people, if you've got a website, how can people go to you to,
I'm building a bigger website, but right now it's Dr. Susie Shooter.
how do you spell that last name?
SCHUD as in David ER.
Okay.
Shooter.
And Susie's spelled Suzie.
Right.
Dr. Susie Schroeder.
Right. .com.
I am so happy that you're dancing again. That is a wonderful. I'm so sorry that this Gardasil injured you, and believe me, between the Vax team and the brilliant doctors we have working with us, we will not rest until that vaccine's off the market. It's a wicked vaccine.
I think the important thing is that to listen to the patients. Listen to the patients. See what they're saying. If someone comes in and says, I have this, and not to just say, well, I don't believe that. You must have blah, blah, blah. No, you don't. There's a before and there's an after. Mother comes in, my child had a vaccine. She was doing well before that, now she's not. Hello, there is a before and after. There is something that you have to look at. You have to believe the patients.
Yeah, but you're not conflict of interest. You don't give vaccines, do you?
No, I don't.
And you don't get paid money to
No.
promote vaccines.
Money? I
That's
get
why you
money.
tell the truth as well.
Right.
It's the
No,
wicked
no.
ones that don't.
We're here to help other people.
Right.
We've been through so much for 4 years. I've gone. I want the whole world to know that your children can be better from this. We have Chloe here. We can all work together. It takes us to teach each other, because there's nowhere that I dug and dug and dug to get to this place. And I'm here because we could just be living happy LA ever after. But I wanted you all to know my baby's well.
I'm so pleased she's well. It's wonderful, wonderful news. It really is. I want to speak to brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's up?
First of all, you didn't have the Gardasil, do you? Did you? Because they're trying to give it to the boys. How do you feel about what they did to your sister?
Well, I didn't really notice it at the time because I was like, I think it was my freshman year of high school, and like I was getting used to like just having fun in high school, and like it went like a couple weeks where my like when I first started noticing it, I come downstairs and my mom's just like walking back and forth like freaking out, and I'm like, what's wrong? She's like, your sister's been in bed for the past 4 days, da, 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 and like freaking out. And then ever since then I started noticing like, hey, like where's Chloe? And she's been just, oh, she's sleeping still. So like there was like probably like it felt like a full year, like 6 months to a year, where like Chloe was just in her room like sleeping. And I was like, what's kind of going on? I knew like she was sick, and then once my mom started doing like a bunch of research on the actual vaccine, then that's when she like started explaining to like me and my dad and my sister, and like educated the whole family. And then that's when I kind of started realizing like, oh, like this is what's wrong with her. I thought she was just tired all the time. And
How do you feel now that you know that the vaccine hurt your sister?
it's crazy. After we actually watched the Vax movie, and I knew my mom was saying like was true after, because at first we were all like, Mom, that's kind of crazy for like the first like couple months, and then after she like did all this research and like showed us, we're like, oh wow, like, and then we went and saw this movie, and then that was like really scary. Like you can't even like trust anything.
Have you just
like,
seen
and
Vax just now?
No, I saw it.
last year,
last-
when they showed up
You were
theater.
here.
They showed out this theater here. It was like
Oh.
probably within like last year. And I was like, wow, that's really sketchy. Like I don't even want to go to the doctor anymore. Like,
Right.
yeah,
And he
What
was
have you done to your arm?
I broke my
Did
collarbone.
I literally
Yeah,
just pat
yeah.
you on the broken arm? I am really
Yeah,
sorry.
it's
Did
all
that hurt?
good. A little bit. But
Sorry.
I'm used to it.
Yeah,
I
give her a
broke
nice
my
pat on the back.
That's not vaccine, right? That's
How
not
did you
vaccine.
break it?
Snowboarding. Yeah.
Snowboarding. It's a snowboarding vaccine.
Oh, stay out of
Like 2
hospital,
weeks
stay
ago.
away from doctors.
I'm actually gonna go see her next
Yeah,
week. I
stick
think.
with
And
Susie.
I actually-
Dr. Susie's the
I actually
one.
have a healing machine. It's electromagnetically pulsed radio waves that speeds healing. So we're going to heal him very quickly. It's called
Oh, I
Diet
wish
Pulse.
you
It's a
lived
Diet
in
Pulse
Austin.
machine.
If it gets terrible here, come on over to Austin, Texas.
You know what? I understand there's planes that go from Austin to where I am too, right?
That's very true. That's very true.
But I wanted to add something, that this is not just a problem that affected Chloe. It affected her whole family. It affected everyone. It affected the relationships between everyone. It was scary. And so it became a family issue, became a family problem. Here you were just being a kid in high school, and it affected you as well. So it becomes a family issue. Everyone is affected. So it's not just the person that happens to have it, which is bad enough, but it bothers, and it probably makes you feel bad to see your mom struggle with it, and your whole family struggle with
Yeah, I'd
it.
always tell her not to worry about me.
Right.
Because everything, she would just end up crying and like, I'm worrying, and I'm like, stop worrying about me. Like, I'm
I
getting
bet
That makes us
Did
worry
that-
even more. We're
I
not
bet that
stupid. We
worked.
know when you're not well, love.
Did that work? Did that work very well when you told her don't worry? No.
Because you're bothering the spirit, that's why.
Yes.
So what do you say to that mother who's about to take her daughter for a Gardasil because she doesn't want her child to get cancer, because that's what they said it's all about?
You mean when they're 50 or 60?
They don't even know if this
they-
vaccine is
no.
giving cancer to these
And
girls.
it's actually not every
Not worth
type. This is only one. You
It's
know,
a useless vaccine.
it's really like
killer.
a.
It's
You know,
not-
there's many types of HPV vaccine. So this is just one type, as far as I know, and it doesn't really do that much. And so you're not going to get cervical cancer when you're 50. Whoop, you do. Why would you want to do
The thing
this
is,
now?
it does do a lot. It's really
It's harmful.
hurting
It is
the
harmful,
girls
yes.
Oh,
and
it
the
is.
boys.
Yes.
But really, the ovaries are shutting down.
That's what I hear.
Yeah.
That made me very
leukemia.
upset. That made me very upset.
It's
So more harm than good.
ongoing, the injuries. You are so blessed that you are sitting here recovered from this vaccine. Because the girls are either dead, the parents were speaking
Dead?
to. Yeah, look, there's 3 girls down there. They died. Oh my God, it's so beautiful. Beautiful girls.
And she has friends that are in really bad spot because of the vaccine right now too.
Yeah, we have friends that their parents they have injuries, and we've told them this is what we do. Please listen, and
They must report it to vets. Get them to report it to vets, and then get them to go to vax.com and to report it to Trump, because that's what we're doing right now.
Right, which is good.
yay.
All right?
Yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you.
We love you guys.
Thank you.
By the way, Governor Perry, which is no secretary of energy.
Perry,
Yeah.
what, the one that wanted to mandate the Gardasil
He
vaccine?
mandated to get the vaccine, and only God knows how many people have been injured and
He tried to
damaged.
mandate it, isn't mandate it.
And then, as we find out from media, a lot of people from his staff is on a payroll of Merck, who is manufacturing the product.
I believe it.
It's corrupt crap, is what it is. All
It's corrupt.
What a
right, okay,
what
they
a
want to show
surprise.
you some love.
What a surprise.
I am turning it round. Here we go, folks. These hearts, I'm going to take them all the way down for your family. Are they
Thank
still coming
you.
up?
Yes.
Get all the hearts down the side.
Aw, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's nice.
Thank you.
Lovely.
Thank you.
For you all.
Thank you.
I've been
See,
adopted.
Mummy likes it.
I'm so grateful. Thank you
They do,
for
they love you.
listening to
Thank
our
you.
story.
Thank you very
So
much.
what is your name?
I'm Polly.
Hi, Polly. No.
And I
where
look
does it
horrific.
go-
Look at that.
where
Oh my
does it-
gosh, I look like a homeless person. Turn it off me. Turn it off. Turn it off. Okay, it won't go off.
No, you look
Well, we can't tell
lovely.
off
You
the-
look lovely.
I'm so happy.
Off you.
I hope you all think twice before you let anybody get that vaccination.
We have to change
Please.
things. We do.
It takes a village. Let's make this. Let's
Keep
make
telling
this
your
girls well.
story, guys. And Mum, you're an amazing mother.
She is.
Yes,
You
she-
rock.
She is.
Thank you.
She
You
does.
really do.
My
I love you to
suggestion-
bits.
My suggestion would be if anybody gets hurt by vaccine, look into natural means to heal yourself. That would be
Natural means to heal yourself.
Right.
Yes.
That's quite right.
And actually, Folium is natural. It's made from pine trees. Pretty
Okay.
amazing, right?
Thank you for inviting us. Thank you for.
I'm sorry that I hurt your
Yes,
your
thank you.
It's
shoulder. when
okay.
I-
I'll pull through.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Lots
All
of
right, we
love.
love you guys. Okay, Periscope as well. Bye bye.